So the Surface Book 3 that I always use for this is not wanting to cooperate. So everybody can enjoy the boats. This has got to be like the Middle Eastern somewhere, something.
That's an Apple TV wallpaper.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Or whatever you call it, a wallpaper. I don't know if that's the right word, but
so here's some hilarious. Oh no, here's the hilariousness of this. I don't know what's going on with this device. I need to stop using this thing. Multiplicity, which is software Stardock makes, I can use my mouse from the box that records all this to get onto the screen and click, and then it says enter your PIN. Oh, nope, can't use that. And then the keyboard is just not responsive, and the touch screen then becomes not responsive. And
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. No, I think I am. So there you go.
See, well, while we're at the topic, thank you, Microsoft, for trying to hijack my search recommendations or my search. No,
That's amazing.
This should be a crime. There should be.
Is that Moment? Is that what that is?
There should be a button that says "Go F yourself," Microsoft, like over here.
Yeah, I think that's the set later button.
I just pull back there because I was trying to bring up things over on the other monitor. So that I could actually see like what happened, because I can't use this.
Oh man,
cannot use the Surface Book 3.
You know,
technology has never led us astray, throughout.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do the right thing for your soul this morning, just switch to Brave.
How very brave of you.
Mm-hmm. It's really not that brave. It's just smart.
Well, OpenAI raised a bunch of money.
Yeah, they're doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing it.
So, by the way,
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but if I'm doing the math right here, SoftBank is now the biggest, or will be this year at some point, the biggest investor in this company, not Microsoft.
You might even say OpenAI is kind of soft with Microsoft and SoftBank.
And open to other investors.
They need to get some money from Mike's Hard Lemonade or something. Why do people listen to us? It's the great commentary, right?
We're doing everything we can to sabotage this, but you know, it's okay.
I actually just hope all this works, because I can't use this laptop, which means I have other things. This is really frustrating. This is so frustrating because I can now hit enter on the keyboard and it opens up. It's like, enter your PIN, and then the numbers don't work and the letters don't work.
What's happening this morning, Brad? You seem to be having a bit of a technology meltdown here.
I'm just looking at all the boats I don't own.
Yeah, it's a nice slow motion flyby. You ever do the thing where you like, this comes up on Apple TV, and then you pick up the remote and you do something that makes it go to the next slideshow thing, whatever it is. And then you realize you can actually navigate between these, and then you spend the next 40 minutes watching wallpapers.
The problem is that it's this remote, and I'm scared to touch buttons on here.
No.
Because like you're right, you can swipe. Let's try swiping. Did it do it? Oh, now we're in space.
Yeah, when you realize you can do that, it's kind of fun for about one day.
My daughter figured that out real quick, and then...
Yeah, of course.
And then she turned on the accessibility feature where it reads everything on the screen. That was a fun week.
Right, mostly because you can't figure out how to get rid of it. You're like, okay, come on. I know it's in here somewhere.
And, well, I also played she got real annoyed at it. And then I refused to Google it, because sometimes you got to teach your kids hard lessons. And I just found it amusing at that point that she had to listen to that. So here's a crazy thought for you, Thurrott.
Yeah.
It's very, very technology related, I promise.
I hope so.
We're supposed to get up to 6 inches of rain between Wednesday and Sunday.
Oh my God.
That's too much.
I'm pretty sure the city does not get 6 inches of rain in a year.
Yeah, no. This is like
it's a lot of rain.
My drains that I've put in are going to be maximum utilized here, and I'm a little concerned that this is like the 100-year flood.
Yeah. Well, start building that ark.
No, I literally got more dirt last night to like build up a dam. So on the side of my house that you can't really see.
I told someone about you. Actually, Mexico City.
Hopefully not the authorities.
No, I know a guy who owns a restaurant bar here, and
Mhm.
he months ago, last on the last trip, had this kind of book open, and it looked like a little pond and a retaining wall kind of a thing, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what is that? And he says, I'm thinking I'm putting a pond. I want to put a pond in my backyard or whatever, and I want to have like fish in it and stuff. And I'm like, oh, let's go. So I forgot all about it, and then we just saw him a couple weeks ago, and he had a similar book. And I said, "Are you still working on that pond thing?" And he said, "Yeah, the problem is my yard is like this slope,
Mhm.
and I've tried to figure out like it will flood, and I don't want the water to overflow and the fish to come out,
Yeah, yeah.
And
I totally
I
relate
said,
to
"You know
this.
what you need is someone to dig a trench, and then you put like this little retaining wall thing, and then it will drain the
Look, I even
water
got some
away."
water behind me.
And he said, "That's exactly what I need." I said, "I know exactly someone who can do that because he
Mhm.
did it for his house." And he said, "When can he be here?" And I said, "I'll give him a call, but I don't think it's going to work."
The problem isn't getting there; it's the tools and
Yeah.
Home Depot, and
Oh, we have Home Depot, man. It's
well, buying all the tools and moving all the stuff. Like,
he
there's
would
just
do it. So if you want an all expenses paid trip to Mexico City, let me know.
I suspect that it would be. Well,
It'd be an interesting clash of what do you call that when people
can I
that
come
don't
down
know each other.
Wednesday? Can I just leave a note for my
Wednesday.
wife that says I'm going to go
that's,
help somebody else
that's
save
very
their house?
sudden, but yeah, I'm going to see him. Actually, I'm going to see him tonight. So yeah, probably.
Yeah, what I did, and I might go get more dirt at lunch today, is on the side of my house, the newest drain that I put in that captures much of the water from like my dirty neighbors who don't capture their own water and make it my problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're good friends. I'll call them dirty neighbors to your face because I tell them that their dirty water enters my clean, high quality grass and
By
ruins my
pristine property.
yeah
Yeah.
my
Okay.
elite blue
Mm-hmm.
tag grassy. Anyways, so there's a drain, like think on the side of a square. There's a drain halfway up that collects, and most of the water funnels towards that drain. However,
Okay.
6 inches of rain is a lot of rain, and I'm a little concerned that that drain might not be sufficient capacity
Sufficient.
to
Yeah.
handle all that.
What's
So
the time frame for this rain? One like
Wednesday through
24-hour
Sunday, but the
period.
problem is,
Oh, okay.
like starting Wednesday night, the problem is that the ground's already saturated from
Yeah.
an inch and a half of rain we got like 2 days ago.
Well, the other problem is you're going to have somewhere along the line leaves, whatever, going to block something. It's going to
Please,
start coming out
please.
of the
I've already
ground
cleaned up all
weird
that
place.
stuff. Like we're good, we're good. Um, maybe not
No,
in
I
the
don't mean
neighbors.
just you. I mean like the whole system. Like it's going to. Anyway, go on. I'm
Anyway,
sorry.
so my concern is that the drain will not be enough capacity to collect all that water. So it was already sort of like in a bowl shape. So what I did was made like an overflow egress that would, if the water gets up too high and the drain isn't draining fast enough, if the goal is that if the water has to flow over an edge because there's too much, I can point it in the right direction.
Of course, yes.
And so I built up like another
Is that
berm.
direction in the direction of the neighbor who doesn't collect their water?
It's down the property line. I will tell you that much. There
Because
is,
that might not be a horrible solution.
yeah. So water goes into that drain. If it doesn't, then it would pile up and then hopefully go over the edge. And the edge that is the lowest is into the pre-existing like low area where the water used to go prior to putting the drain in. That does move it out to the front of the house. It's whatever. Anyways, there's water behind me. That's why I put it up because I'm worried about water.
I'm sorry.
Um, otherwise, oh, what happened? Oh,
Hmm. Oh, now it's over.
it's because I touched the computer. Maybe.
Yeah. Probably just timed out on its own little schedule.
The quality of this podcast, I always just am amazed at how we keep elevating things. Oh, the Apple TV might have turned off.
I sometimes feel like this podcast is basically an alarm goes off and then I turn on a camera and suddenly we're talking about something and I have no idea where it's going.
It's like when my wife comes home from work, like we're talking. I don't know what it's about, but
Or why we're talking.
something happened. I don't know. I can't. What else is going on in the world? Nothing. Probably not.
Wow. Intel is back.
Oh,
Baby.
right. Their new CEO said we're going to spin off non-core assets, but didn't dictate what that means because
This guy talked for an hour, and the thing you just said occupied 3 seconds of that hour, and that was the story that came out of it. And I, I wrote it too, but I mean, like, I feel like first public appearance by this guy who sadly is about as understandable as any given executive from Samsung. a little tough on the English speaking brain, but
Hmm.
um, I he seemed honestly in love with the company and wanting to do the right thing and sad about what has happened to it and all that stuff, which I guess is kind of a minimum. But
Yeah.
he's speaking frankly, and he has asked Intel's customers and presumably the press, I guess, to speak as honestly, and that you need this kind of harsh feedback, and they want to do the right thing, and we'll see. But I don't know. I'm of contrary opinions on this one because Intel lorded over this industry for so long. It was so terrible for so long. And it's like, so sort of saying something like, I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope that authoritative regime from some country I don't know about in Africa or wherever, I hope they're okay. But obviously it's a different Intel now, so maybe they will be okay, and maybe it will be
Maybe.
okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see. Um, the thing is, I mean, none of it's going to be quick. Well, selling of non-core
No,
assets, depending on what that means, that's such
that could
a
mean anything, right? I know. Some of it's kind of obvious, like the Mobileye security stuff. If you look over there, you can
yeah.
just look at any quarterly report and be like, all right, so I to me, he spelled out what the core businesses were. That it was the chip design stuff, which is
Hmm.
the x86, whatever, and then the foundry, right? And
Yep.
the desire to work with companies to do custom designs that they want that may have nothing to do with what Intel, their own chip design is doing.
One of the other interesting headlines that's been floating around, it wasn't directly related to
Hmm.
that keynote or whatever you want to call it, was that NVIDIA and Intel were doing something on the graphics side together. And I'm wondering if that's tied into this at all in any capacity. But
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. We'll see. Thoughts and prayers.